Hello everyone. So this game was played at candidates round 8 between Nakamura and Caruana, and here it was very important for Nakamura to win this game to stay in the fight for winning the candidates, and he did it, defeating Caruana in a very style. But Caruana also played a very nice defense here. Let's see how the game began. So Nakamura started with pawn e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, a6, bishop e4, knight f6, castle, knight takes. This is Rai Lopez. Then d4, b5, bishop b3, d5, d takes e5, bishop e6, c3, bishop to c5, knight b d2, castles, bishop c2, knight takes f2, rook takes, bishop takes, king takes. Here black gives up his knight and bishop for a rook and pawn. So f6, knight f1, f takes e5, king g1. Here white's king is bit open and black is having a good control over the center, so he will try to push his center pawns. So queen d6, bishop e3, bishop f5, bishop to b3, rook a d8, queen e1, then knight to a5, queen f2, knight b7. The reason is white was looking for this keeper, so just knight went back to b7 to cover the c5 square. So then rook e1, then pawn c5. It is showing inaccuracy. Yeah, it's bit of inaccuracy. The better move uh, would have been just to play bishop d3 directly and then e4, but okay, c5, but knight g3. So it's not that huge of a blunder that it shifts the advantage. The position is still equal. So bishop d3 now, queen d2, c4. Computer likes the e4 more, maybe that's why it's showing a mistake. Then bishop to d1, rook d7, bishop f2, rook d f7. So this is the plan of black to put pressure over the open f file. So here a very nice idea is there that white has applied, that is knight h1, protecting the bishop, and when this bishop will move somewhere, then knight can come on f2 and from there can go on g4 somewhere and attack. So here game continued with pawn e4. Now knight d4. Now the white knight is having a d4 square, which is a very nice square to go. Queen to g6, and here white found the correct move, the only move that would have kept the advantage for white, and that was h4. This was a very brilliant move of the game. There was no other move that would keep the advantage, and h4 was a bit difficult to find. And one more thing, by h4 king is also having this escape square, so at any time this kind of checkmate won't come. So continuing with knight c5, h5, queen d6, then bishop to g4. Very nice move, covering this square so that knight cannot go on e6. Then pawn h6, queen e3, queen f4, queen takes, rook takes, knight e6, knight takes, bishop takes check, king h7, and white takes the pawn. Then rook at 8 f5, bishop c6, rook takes pawn, bishop d4, rook h f5, knight f2. Now this idea is working. The knight is coming out from the f2 square and even attacking on the e4. So black played rook f7, then pawn b4, h5. Here actually the thing is Caruana is having very less time to figure out for the moves. Yeah, before the h5 move he only had around 2 minutes 42 seconds, and when he played the h5 move, now he has only 1 minute 23 seconds on the clock, and he has to do 2 more moves before the time gets added. So a4 by white, b takes, bishop takes. Here clearly white is in a good position, but still Caruana fought very well. It computer shows that it's winning for white, but for human eye it's not very easy to find all the good moves here. So h4, bishop to e3. Here actually there was a very good idea. Instead of bishop e3, the idea was bishop to c6 and target this e4 pawn, because this is the main thing on which black is relying to somehow push the pawn or something, try something. So that's why the bishop c6 plan was better and liked more by the computer as well. Okay, but bishop e3, rook 4 to f5, rook a1, h3, rook a2, h takes, g2, then bishop to d1, rook 7 f6, bishop g4. And here one more thing, like here so many people would think of playing something like bishop e2 or c2 and exchange this powerful bishop or something, but it would be a very bad idea, because then black will have here a very strong passed pawn. So bishop to g4, rook d5, king takes, rook g6, king g3, bishop f1. Here now white is improving his position and targeting for the e4 pawn. So bishop d4, bishop d3, king f4, king g8, bishop f5, rook h6, knight g4, rook d6, rook e3, now attacking the rook, rook b5, bishop c5, rook f6, king e5, king f7, knight d5. Now slowly white's pieces have improved a lot. From second, third rank it has really reached the fifth rank. Now rook takes f5, sacrificing the exchange. King takes, but here still the pawn is not getting promoted. It reached till e2 and then bishop f2, stopping the pawn. Rook b8, rook e1, just staying there. Rook e8 check, king f4, g5 check, king g3, rook e6, king f2, rook h6, king e3, rook e6 check, king f2 again, rook h6. Now knight e3, rook check, king g3, rook f1, then knight g2 to protect the bishop, then rook f6. What else, like white will so what else the black will do here? Again, it's been a lot of moves and Caruana is defending, and even after the time got added after 40 moves, this is the 67th move, still he got in time pressure again. Currently he is having 4 minutes. Then bishop f2, king g6, rook a5, rook e6, knight e1, and it is said that knight is the best blockader of the passed pawn. So this is what white is doing. So bishop f5, knight f3, rook d6, knight d4, blocking the rook so that rook cannot enter in, and bishop d3, rook e5, targeting the e2 pawn, king f6, just knight f3 here. And in this position Caruana finally resigned and Nakamura won the game, and is currently, although Nepo is is having 6 points here, and just behind Nepo is Caruana with 5, but still Nakamura is in the fight with this win, having 4.5 of score now. Let's see what happens. We all know Nakamura is a great player. Let's see if he can do something. Hope you have enjoyed this game. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel for many more such games. Thank you.